Namaskar. Welcome you all. Welcome you all in this educational video of NIOS. Now we are doing subject Library Science, and this is in Indian Sign Language medium. This is for senior secondary level, and code number for this subject is 339. Today we are doing this subject, and the subject name is Library and Information Sciences. We are doing lesson number 1, and name of the lesson is shown on the screen also. It is Library and Information Centers, Concept and Role in Society. We all know that library plays an important role. So you all can join our session. We are going to start our lesson now. First, we will be doing glossary from this lesson. After doing these words, we will explain the lesson. You can see two words. The first word is library. This sign is the general sign for any library. You can get any subject's book there, whether it is Hindi, English, social, history. In general, you can get any book. So in library, we keep book from different subjects. The other word is librarian. Librarian is the person who looks after library and take care of all the resources which are available in the library. So the person who is working in the library is known as librarian. This word is concern. Concern means something which is of worry. You have to think carefully and take a right decision. So for that, we use concern. Source. Source can be considered as a place. From which place means from which source the thing or the book or the information has been taken. Nowadays we have technical advancement, so we do lots of search and research online using internet in computer. So there are different online sources also which are available nowadays. This word is space. Space can be considered as the area for which we need the thing to be kept. So the place in which you can move freely. This word is posterity. Something which is abundant and adequate. We know that library has lots of subjects and many books, so library has posterity in knowledge. This word is research. Research means searching again. Whenever we search again and again to analyze something, then we use this word research. This word is socialize. In our society, we meet with so many people. That is called as socialize. This word, in brief, we call it ICT. The full form of ICT is Information and Communications Technology. We use ICT for getting information and for different types of communication purposes. We use different technical machines. So for those, we use the word ICT. This word is digital. This is something which we cannot touch physically, but this is all virtually. Nowadays, we are doing everything digitally. We make so many online work. We can book our dates. We can also see the map whenever we need to reach to a particular destination. We use email. We keep so many files. So all these are virtual things. We also use digital devices for doing online shoppings. We need not go to the market. We just do online shopping and things reach at our place. Also, for getting any information, we use the digital devices. So this word is digital. This word is recreation. The time we use for our own relaxation and for our own entertainment, just to keep our mind afresh. Like in home, in our free time, we sometimes play chess, sometimes carom board, we do cycling, read story books, some historical serials we see, or we watch movies. We do all these things for our enjoyment, for our own refreshment. So this word is recreation. This word is publisher. There are many publishers who publish different knowledge informations. This word is collection. When we keep and collect some information and keep all those information at a place so that during the time of need, we can use those collected information. Consultation. Consultation can be done with any expert, whether the expert is doctor, whether the expert is dietitian, whether the expert person is expert in any field. So we consult and take advice from that expert for our work. This word is periodicals. Periodicals are the informational magazines which are published in a particular time period. Like few periodicals are monthly, few are quarterly, few are yearly. Some periodicals are weekly also. So there are different time periods for different time period those magazines are published. This word is pamphlet. Sometimes there are threefold pamphlets. You must have seen different kinds of pamphlet, and sometimes there is only one page. These pamphlets have some important information in summarized form. For example, we in NIOS, we also have our pamphlet, and we briefly put our information on those pamphlets and distribute them at certain places. You must have seen pamphlets of different companies and different restaurants. So all those papers which have short, brief information, we call those information as pamphlets. In pamphlet, all the informations are shown in bullets. Like whenever you go to any restaurant, then a menu card is shown to you. That is also a kind of pamphlet. This word is records. We keep our records for official work or future use. All the files are kept. They are known as records. We can keep records in text or file form. Sometimes we also keep records of the audio video material. Video files are kept in CDs or pen drives. So they are also kind of records. This word is institution. It can be any school, any university, any special place. It can be small or big. This word is heritage. Heritage is our cultural habits which are transferred from one generation to another, or we just preserve them at one place so that we all society people can see and understand all those cultural traditions and values. This word is unbiased. Unbiased means having a clear mind. So far we have covered the difficult words. Now we are beginning our lesson, and the first topic is why libraries are important for societies. You can see the screen. There are some points. The first point explains that library plays a bridge between developed and developing countries. There are countries which are developed and they have people who are good in knowledge, and the other countries which are developing, whenever they need some advice or they need information about any subject, then the libraries help as a bridge between both the two countries, the developed countries and the developing countries. And the quality of information which is provided in library, that is important, because we know that library acts as a bridge between the developed and developing countries. So they play a very important role between the source and the user. The information which we receive from the library, that is important, as we need to be mindful of choosing and looking after the information which is provided carefully. As we know that the quality of information is an important concern and it is a challenge for everyone. So library acts as a helping source. And also the libraries need a good space where people can discuss, they can socialize, and they can do research and carry many more functions. Now these points which you can see on screen, these points are explaining that personalization of information provision is important. And also, all the public libraries which are used by the general public, they all play very important role. And therefore, the future of libraries will depend on how flexible these libraries are. So it depends upon the flexibility of the library, whether they are using the new advanced knowledge and new advanced upcoming technology and machines. So that decides the future of library. And as we know that nowadays ICT is used quite often, so ICT is one of the key driver. But still, we all have a challenge, and that challenge is the digital divide. Because everything now is becoming digital and it needs more efforts from many factors. Let us have a break here.
करने राहों को आलोकित करने,
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम
अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने।
सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो,
धन साधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो।
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो,
कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से
और जागे
मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने।
जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता, फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात
कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने। कोई मन चाहा
Now, let us see the objectives of this lesson. The first objective is we will be able to define library and an information center. The other objective is we will be able to describe the purpose and functions of a library and an information center. And the next objective is we will be able to explain the role of libraries and information centers in modern society. So let us now continue. The word library is derived from the Latin word, and the Latin word is libraria, which means a book place. And this libraria word is originated from the term liber. And the meaning of liber is book. The Oxford Companion of the English Language explains the word library as a collection of books, periodicals, and or other materials primarily written and printed. So these materials can be CD, hard disk, pen drive, all those materials which are found in soft copy, and also the hard copy material, as we know, the books, the paper. And Harrod's Librarian's Glossary and Reference Book defines the word library as all these definitions. So the first definition explains that library is a collection of books and other library material, other literary materials which are kept for reading, study, and consultation. All those other literary materials can be CD or anything in which we can store the information. It can be news, it can be film, it can be videotape, it can be audio-video material, anything which is virtual, which is in soft copy. Another definition explains library as a place or a building, a room, or a room set apart for the keeping and use of a collection of books, etc. Another definition of library is a number of books issued by one publisher under a comprehensive title as the Loeb Classical Library. It is a publisher's name. They are usually having some general characteristics such as subject, binding, or typography. And generally, they have the bindings in particularly two colors, green and red. and also their typography is unique in their own way. Another definition of library is, it defines library as a collection of films, photographs, and other non-book materials, plastic or metal tapes, and discs and programs. You must have seen the older machines like cassettes, tape recorder, recorded tapes. So all those materials are considered as non-book materials, which are in plastic or metal. As we have understood the definition of library, now further, in view of all those definitions, a library can be defined as, it is a place in which literary and artistic materials such as books, periodicals, newspapers, pamphlets, prints, records, tapes, and artifacts, all these are kept for reading, references, or lending. So library is a place where we keep all these items for our use. We can find the different books from different time periods in library. It is a one place where all records are kept. So people can come for the research work, for the reading purpose, for finding any reference, and they also use books for lending. They keep the book for 1 week or 2 weeks, then they return the books in library back. Also, library can be defined as a collection of such materials, especially when they are all systematically arranged and people can come and search their book easily, in an easy way. Also, it can be defined as a room in a private home for keeping our collection. Another definition can be that library is an institution or a foundation maintaining such a collection. Now this figure is very important. He is Dr. S.R. Ranganathan. We all call him as father of library science in India. He describes the library as a public institution or an establishment charged with the care of collection of books and the duty of making them accessible to those who require to use them. So because of him, nowadays we are using library. Until now, we all know that library is an important place. So far, whatever we have covered, let us review all those points here. The first point which we discussed was that library is a collection of books and other literary materials kept for reading, study, and consultation. The next point which we discussed was that library is a place, a building, a room, or rooms set apart for keeping and use of a collection of books. Also, the third point which we discussed earlier defines that library as a number of books issued by one publisher. This publisher, Loeb Classical Library, is a non-Indian publisher. They are usually having some general characteristics such as subject, binding, or typography. The fourth point which we discussed was that library is a collection of films, photographs, and other non-book materials, plastic or metal tapes, and there are some discs and some programs in that collection. Now here on this screen you can see the word written why libraries. Here we are talking about the purpose of libraries. Why do we use library? What is the purpose we need libraries? So the purpose of establishing a library is to serve the society through the records of human thoughts, ideas, and expressions by making them available to all. Now here we can understand the functions of library. We know that library collects and provide books as well as other non-book materials to help the people to become aware of the thinking of others. Let me again tell you that non-reading materials are those materials which are the audio, video, or some soft materials like television, serials, or laptop. We use all these machines for using the soft material, or you can say non-book material. It also fosters and promotes the spread of knowledge, education, and culture. So that is why we need library. Because library is a place where we get all the information about our own history, our own culture. And also library provides facility for formal and informal lifelong self-education in the community. The word formal means something which is in a proper way, or you can say something which is professional. And the other word, which is informal, means normal, which is not professional. Now this is also important, that why do we need libraries? Libraries preserves the literary and cultural heritage of humanity for posterity, just as vehicles of culture and materials for research. So you can say that library is a place where we get all the information about our own culture, where it is preserved. It is kept as a cultural heritage of humanity. So there are lots of books which we can study about our own cultural heritage. And this is also important. Why do we need library? Because libraries provides reliable information for all kinds of users, irrespective of any age, any caste, any creed, any color, any religion, any sex, etc. So anyone can use library, and the information they will get from the library would be reliable. Another reason why do we use library or why do we need library is that it collects resources in order to promote an enlightened citizenship and to enrich personal life. So library helps us to get enlightened, and also library facilitates advancement of culture in community. As in India we have different culture, different states, so we can get information of other state, other culture easily in a library. Let us now review back all those points which we just discussed. The first point is that why do we need library and what is the need of the library? We need libraries because libraries collects and provides books as well as other non-book materials to help the people to become aware of the thinking of others. The next point which we just discussed was that it means library fosters and promotes the spread of knowledge, education and culture. The next point which we discussed is it provides facility for formal and informal lifelong self-education in the community. Now here we are talking about the functions of a library. The first function is that it provides education. The second important function of library is it provides information for dissemination. The third important function of library is it promotes culture. Promotion of culture is an important function. The fourth important function is recreation. Now let us understand the first function in detail. The first function is education. Libraries provide means for self-development of the individual. As we grow, we learn lots of things. So libraries help us know so many things, individually and also in a group at various stages of education. Library closes the gap between the individual and the recorded knowledge. As an educational center, the libraries support and promote all types of education, that is formal education or non-formal education, whether it is adult education or lifelong education. This is achieved by stocking of books and other reading materials for the community. And also we keep the non-book materials like CDs, videos. There are so many methods which we use in a library. Let us now again review all those points which we discussed. We discussed that libraries provide means for self-development of the individual and groups at various stages of education. Next, we had understood that there is a gap between the individual and recorded knowledge, so library help us close the gap which happens between individual and recorded knowledge. Next, we had understood that library as an education center, it promotes and supports all types of education, whether it is formal education, whether it is non-formal education, adult education, or any lifelong education. The next point which we understood is that all these things which we discussed earlier, all these are achieved by stocking of books. If we keep a stock of books in our library and also some other reading material, those reading material can be any non-book material also for the community. First point which we already discussed, which was the function of library. Now this is the second function of library. It is information dissemination. It explains that library helps to provide accurate and current information to individuals and groups, particularly on the topic of their interest. Because nowadays there are so many information available and the information or the topic for which we need information, so we can particularly look for that information. And the scope of information service is extended to include information on socio-economic needs of the society. As we know that library is a place where we keep information for all the levels, for all the groups or subgroups. Library has to serve as a information center or a referral center for specialized source of information. And also the employment opportunities, the public utility services, the social awareness programs which are undertaken by various departments are considered to be essential areas of information. like the COVID vaccination, the polio drop related any information. All these information which are needed for public awareness, all those information can be disseminated to the public through a library. And also information about these areas is collected and stored by libraries for dissemination to the general public. So there are various kinds of work which comes under the functional library category. As library provides us information which can be used for the general public, so any member of the public can come and use the library. Let us now review the functional reasons or the functions of library, which we discussed that information dissemination is the second function. So libraries help to provide accurate and current information to individuals and groups, particularly on the topic of their interest. The next point which we discussed was the scope of information services is extended to include information on socio-economic needs of the society. And the next point which we discussed was that a library has to serve as an information center or referral center for specialized source of information. Another point which we discussed was that the employment opportunities, public utility services, social awareness programs undertaken by various departments are considered to be essential areas of information. And also we discussed that information about these areas is collected and stored by libraries for dissemination to the general public. Now this is the third function of library. The topic is promotion of culture. This is an important function. Libraries act as one of the principal centers of cultural life and promote participation, enjoyment, and appreciation of various arts. So there are various promotions of cultures. The promotion of culture can be considered easily by looking at the two aspects. The first is reading and thinking that widens the mental horizon and develops creative capabilities of the individual. And the second aspect is that the library has to contribute to the cultural enrichment of the society by organizing extension activities like lectures by some experts or seminars, symposia, book exhibitions, and some cultural gatherings. on any festival. Like in India, we have different culture. For example, in Hyderabad, we have different culture. In Delhi, we have different culture. Punjab, we have different culture. So such symposia, seminars can be organized where all the peoples from different states can be invited and they can discuss. The fourth function of library is recreation. Recreation libraries play an active role in encouraging the positive use of leisure time by providing materials for change and relaxation. And also there is a provision for healthy and positive use of leisure time, because it is an important function of a library. Like books of fictions are available in library, some magazines, colorful magazines, newspapers, etc. All these facilitate recreational reading. And also, because nowadays we have technology, so there are audio visual materials such as films, television, radio, and audio video cassettes, etc. All these items increase the utility of public library. And also various forms of performing arts may also be organized in the library to make them feel real community centers. Let us now understand the role of libraries in societies and education. It is explained in bullet points. The first point is it helps the lifelong self-education of one and all. The second point explains that it furnishes up-to-date facts and information on all subjects to everyone. The next point explains that it disseminates all shared recorded views and thoughts in an unbiased and balanced way to everyone. So far, we discussed so many points. Let us now review all those points. The first point which we discussed is it provides opportunities for positive use of leisure time to one and all. The next point which we discussed was that it preserves the literary and cultural heritage of humanity for research. And the next third point which we discussed was that it works for continued social well-being of the society as an agency in charge of all socialized recorded thoughts. So far, we have covered few part of the lesson 1. I hope you all understand this well and hope you will continue learning. Thank you.